Hello friends, today we will discuss about file handling. This is very important chapter in class 12 computer science, file handling through Python. First of all, we should know what is file handling. Because we are going to handle the file through the Python, that's why it is known as file handling. So file in case of file handling, we are storing our data into different file instead of database, and that file is being utilized for the retrieve and writing the data. That's why the handling of that type of file is termed as data file handling. So that file is storing data, that's why that is called data file, and we are going to handle that data for the saving and retrieving. That's why we can call it data file handling. There are different type of extensions also, .text for the text file, .csv for the text file, even though you can use without extension, or some different extension also you can utilize. So that we'll discuss later on. Type of data files. So there are two different type of data files in Python. First one is text file. Text file is very simple file and easily understandable by the human being. This is actually processed data what the computer is receiving, and after processing that, the processed data is being stored into a file in form of ASCII as well as Unicode, and each and every content data is being separated through delimiters. So that is very easy to understand by the human being also. But obviously, if the human being can easily understand, it means computer has to work a lot more than the human being. So what is delimiters? So delimiters is basically a sequence of characters that can specify the boundaries between the content of the file. So that separates the content and independent results in the text file. That can be done through the delimiters. For example, delimiters are /n /r, that is also known as EOL, end of line, and even the double quote, single quote also, which is separating the data. Comma itself, comma is also being used, so separation of the data as a delimiters into the text file. Another one is binary file. Binary file is just reverse of text file. Obviously, binary file is not processed. That is raw data. As it is, what computer is receiving, that same as it is data is being written into the file. And obviously, if the as it is data is written, it means that is in machine language, and it is not easy to understand by the human being. And if it is in machine language, data stored into machine language, it means it is very easy to understand by the computer. So obviously the process is less. So computer has to perform less process in comparison to text file handling. So binary file is the better way to store the data and handle the content from the data file. Obviously, there is no delimiters into binary files, because that is not required to separate. That is machine language. Automatically what the data is being received by the computer is being stored into the file, binary file. Now how we can open, before discussion of the how we can open, we should know what are the different operations we can perform on a file. So basically there are three different options we need to perform on the file. First one is reading, another one is writing, and third one is appending. This is called mode. Means whenever we are trying to open a file, we have to tell the Python to open file in the certain mode, and that mode is basically reading, writing, and appending. And this mode is denoted by R for reading, and W for writing, and A for appending. So whenever we require to open data to write, we should use the mode as a W, and if required to read the data from the file, we should use mode as R, and if you want to append the data into the previous stored data, then we should use A. Even the combination of the two different modes we can also use, followed by the plus sign. So if we want to read and write both operation, so we can use R plus. R is first one, and then plus, that's why the reading, and additional one is writing. Another one option is W plus. W plus means writing, and another one option is reading. So plus means another one option. And A plus means append, plus another one is reading, because append and write mostly is the same type. So A plus means append and write. Reading. Append and reading. A plus. By default, if we are opening the file and not passing any type of the file, means basically a binary file. So by default, each and every statement open function is opening the file in form of text, until unless we are not putting the B for binary file. If you want to open a binary file, you have to put B. How that can be utilized B, we will discuss later on. So first we'll discuss about that text file, how to handle the text file. How to open? So this is the simple syntax to open the file, either it is binary or text, there is no matter. Now first of all, there is a file object, that is the holder basically, equal sign, then open is a function, because opening and closing brackets after that open is written, and we are passing the file name. If we can pass file name and as well as mode also. So either file, if you are not passing file mode along with the file, by default that file is being opened in form of read mode. If we are passing the mode, then that as well as good. What the mode we are passing, that can be utilized as a mode. I think one thing, point. If we are not passing file mode along with the open function, it is opening in the read mode. And if you are passing R along with the file into open function, that is also in read mode. So both are the same. Okay, so first of we will discuss about what is file object. File object is basically a stream to handle the file stored into hard disk. I'll just take an example. Suppose I want to put the water into the root of a tree, and that is in my garden. How we can put? So we are doing taking a pipe and putting one into the tap and another one into the root of the tree. Means this thing, if your water is a data and you are passing your data from tap, and that is to be stored into the root of the tree. So who is moving from tap to the tree? That pipe. And this pipe is basically behaving as a file object. In our case, file handling case, it is the file object is behaving just like a pipe. So if we want to save data from our computer RAM to hard disk to the file, so that from RAM to the file, hard disk file, the data is being traveled through the pipe, that is file object. So that is file handling. Now how to open file? There are the functions, open function to open the file. So the code is file. Now file is the variable. File equal to open is a function, and the file name my data.txt. This is the file name where data is already stored, because I'm opening the file into R mode. So R is the reading mode. It means by default it is automatically data is stored into the my data.txt file. So here file is a file object. File is a variable, and that denotes the file object. Equal sign. Open is a function, and then we are passing two different things into the open function. First one is file name, and another one is the mode of open. So open mode is R. Okay, if you are not writing R, then both are the same, because if you're not putting R, by default this is opening as a read mode. So either the line 1, this one, or the line this one, both are the same, because by default if I'm not passing anything, means any mode like R or anything, so by default this statement is treated as a opening of file into read mode, and here also opening of file into read mode. So this is the open syntax for the opening of file. Okay, so that's all for today. In this video, we will discuss later on how to write data and read data to and from a file, a text file. We'll discuss later on. Thank you and goodbye.